The Extremis Publishing Podcast is endorsed by Heart 200, Scotland's most exciting road trip. Find out more at heart200.scot.
Hello and welcome to the Extremis Publishing Podcast. I'm Tom Christie. Today's topic is Heart 200, Scotland's favourite road trip, and I'm delighted to be joined by my co-author and co-director at Extremis Publishing, Julie Christie, and the Communications Director of Heart 200 Scot Limited, Mr. Mike Dales. Mike is a published author. His book Find Time for Exercise is currently available, and he's also the host of a popular podcast of the same name. Mike and Julie, welcome.
Hi Tom.
Hi, thank you.
Well, it's good to speak to you today about a subject that's close to all our hearts, and that is the Heart 200 route, which runs through Perthshire and Stirlingshire and carries with it some extraordinary sites, locations and cultural history. Now Mike, you are one of the people who was responsible for composing this route and taking in some of these amazing places. What can you tell us about the initial planning?
I think the original idea came from my fellow director, Robbie Cairns, who ran a hotel, Fortingall Hotel, up at the northern end of the Heart 200 route. And he stood on a bridge over the A9 one day, saw all the traffic heading north, and thought we need something sort of tourism promotion-wise to get a few more people turning off the A9 and visiting this area. And really, I think a few weeks after that, Robbie and myself had a conversation, and what emerged from that conversation eventually was Heart 200. And that is sort of a loose route. We don't like to sort of really say this is the hard and fast route to follow. It's just a corridor around Perthshire, Stirlingshire, like you say, through the two cities of Perth and Stirling, but taking in the rural area, the countryside, and sort of around the Trossachs and sort of the Loch Tay corridor being the sort of northern end of that route. So I think that's really where the idea came from and has developed from there.
Now, when you and Robbie first devised the idea for Heart 200, had you any idea how much it was going to run and run? People really seem to have taken to the notion of the road trip.
No, I think like any of these ideas, you look back and see how the idea formed over time and is still developing. But we've always felt that as a region, it's got a very high density of tourist attractions and tourism related businesses. Within the sort of average mile of the route, there are just lots of things to do, whether it's visiting castles and gardens, adventure, bungee jumping, whitewater rafting, hill walking, canoeing and so on, places to stay, places to find food and drink. It's a bit of a cliche, but it is all things to all people. So whether you're couples or whatever over 70, whether it's people with young families, whether it's people seeking adventure in their 20s and 30s, whichever sort of age group, life stage you look at, this area really has something for everyone. And I think the other thing about it is that as a general sort of route of about 200 miles, if you want to go around the whole route over a week or so, that's fine. But if you just want to explore one corner of it, or just just one village within it, then that's great. That we don't put any emphasis on having to complete the route. We just want to promote tourism to this area, and if that means somebody coming to stay in one of the towns or one of the villages and just stay still for the week, that's great. There just really are no prizes for going around the whole thing.
And I think that might be one of the reasons why it has lent itself so well to the idea of slow tourism, because as you rightly say, there are just so many things to see and do in the area, whether it be cultural heritage, whether it be activities, outdoor activities, walking, cycling. There's just something for everyone on Heart 200.
There is, and I think the other thing is that although we've got like a line on the map, a suggested route, there is so much inside of that circle into the sort of heart of the heart, but there's also so much looking out the way as well, externally. And I think even if you are going around the route, what that lends itself is to get to a particular place and say, let's stay here for 2 or 3 nights. And just using Perth as an example, you might get to Perth, and rather than stay a night and move on tomorrow, why not stay 2 nights in Perth, take the train to Dundee, visit the V&A and the Discovery, and come back to Perth, stay a second night, and then move on to Kinross or wherever you want to go for the next night or 2 or 3.
I think that's definitely true for me as well. The fact that when we first saw the route, it was so obvious that you didn't have to do the whole thing. You could just go for a couple of nights and do a quarter. Yeah. And because of its location geographically within Scotland, being right in the heart of Scotland, it makes it very easy for a lot of people to access it from different places without having to travel a good distance. So automatically your relaxation is there without having to travel for miles and miles to get to the destination, and gives you more time just to enjoy it when you do get there.
Yeah, and I think with something like this, there is a thing in sort of tourism promotion for the overseas market, which is there, is important, but I think also quite often the sort of home market, the Scottish market, is overlooked. And say you're looking at this from the point of view of someone in Dundee or Edinburgh, you might sort of think, well, we know that bit around Perth really well, so let's use the Heart 200 website and to find a few ideas and go over and explore the Stirling corner of the route, have a long weekend around Stirling and go out to the Trossachs. So I think a lot of people within Scotland might sort of feel that they know one side of the route, so let's explore the other side. So they're not going to be looking at going around the whole 200 miles. They're going to be sort of thinking about exploring a half of it or one bit of it.
And I guess that's one, if there has to be one positive thing that's come out of COVID, is the fact that a lot of people who live locally have discovered their own area, have discovered all the delights that are not that far away, and don't have to jump on a plane to have a great time, have great food, great conversation, discover new things, scenery, nature. It's as you rightly say, it's all there, and depends what you're looking for.
It does. I mean, I see myself as an explorer. I'm out there all the time, hill walking and running and cycling and so on. And yet, during the lockdowns 2020, I was exploring and finding new places within 2 miles of home that I'd never been to before, because I was going out for a walk and thinking, I've always gone right or straight on at this junction. I'm going to go left today. Wow, I didn't know this was here. And I think other people were doing the same, whether it was 2 miles away or 10 miles away, but we have been sort of digging into those little corners of our own country and finding new places. And I think there's another one that in terms of dipping in, dipping out of Heart 200 and not going the whole way round the route, we know that other attractions, other areas, other routes exist. And we know that people are driving up from down south to, let's say, go to drive around the North Coast 500, for example. But if you find out about Heart 200, you could sort of think, well, on the way up to Inverness, we're going to use the Heart 200 website route to take in half of the Heart 200, just to slow ourselves down, just to find somewhere nice to stay for a night. And by doing that, you're just sort of dipping into this area, finding something, and you might go on and drive around North Coast 500, but you might just make a mental note that next year we're going to come back and look at the other side of Heart 200.
Or you might decide that you want to come back and see it on your way home.
Yes.
And prolong your visit to Scotland a little bit longer. Just enjoy a bit more.
Absolutely. If you're coming up from down south for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you could do one half of the Heart 200, say from Stirling around the Trossachs, Loch Tay, up to Brewer, and then head off up the A9. And as you come back down, pick it up again at Brewer, and go around by Blairgowrie, Perth, Kinross, back to Stirling, and in two sections, a week or so apart maybe, you've done the whole of Heart 200, and you'll have seen some fantastic places.
That's the thing that we discovered when we wrote the books about it, is we've been in and around this area for most of our lives, and there was just so many things that we didn't know about right on our doorstep.
Yeah.
And if we can do that, how much more have we got to offer people who don't know the area yet, still to come and enjoy it?
I think some of the little villages just have so much character and just so much to see. I mean, not far from where I am, the village of Dunning, I think it's just an absolute gem of a place, and just so much to see there. Where the witch was hung, the Dublin stone in the church, and a nice pub to go for a meal and a drink. Yeah. What more could you want?
And it's interesting that you mention that, because it's a fantastic juxtaposition between the historical and the modern. On one hand, as you mentioned, the Dublin Cross and all of these ancient landmarks in Dunning, but on the other hand, it was used as the launch point for the first haggis in space.
Yes.
So, and that's just one of the stories that we talk about in Mysteries and Secrets of the Heart 200 route, because I think the ethos of the book was to look beyond the major landmarks and the other things around the route that we'd discussed in the first book, and look instead at the slightly less obvious sites and attractions.
There's all the different mysteries and things as well. But there's so much to offer. One of the things that's been recognised is the fact that Stirling has been the only city in Scotland now that's been shortlisted as City of Culture for 2025. And Heart 200 and Extremis back to bid and hopefully that's going to be a real positive. But it was amazing just how many different places got behind it. Crafts, food, attractions, all these different things, businesses that saw the real value in the area and promoting that to the world, not just to Britain. How this is how good this area is, and sometimes when you live in it, you don't think about it as much. So yes, I would encourage anybody to find out a bit more about that too, and see what's been happening with that bid as well.
Yeah, certainly from a Heart 200 point of view, we're really proud to sponsor that bid, and come on Stirling, we just hope that it's a successful bid and becomes City of Culture, because it would be absolutely fantastic.
It would be, absolutely. There's so much to do, and sometimes it takes friends to come and see it, sometimes to really appreciate it, to come and see all the wonderful things that we have. There's not many places that have got a castle, Stirling Castle and Wallace Monument, that you can see one from the other and can go and visit. and our world class university, all within a very short space and time and area.
Yeah, that's one of the things that jumped out at me actually when we were researching the book, is how often totally different attractions can exist, within a very short space of each other. I think in particular of the biodiversity garden in Perth, the Greyfriars biodiversity area, which is right in the centre of the city, and amazingly quiet, peaceful place, perfect for meditation or anyone who just wants to get away from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. But yet only a short walk away, perhaps 5 minutes away, you'll find the Concord Record Shop, which is the oldest family-owned record shop, independent music shop in Scotland. So I mean, these are just two of the things you'll find on the Heart 200 route that we certainly found to be not just of interest, but also fascinating to know that they existed so close together.
And also there's things like Clootie McToot's dumplings, which embraces the old of Scotland and well known for Clootie dumplings and very much a Scottish tradition, but bringing it bang right up to date to see how you can make your own, and lots of different and unusual flavours as well. So that's gorgeous too. I can always recommend anything to do with food. And there's lots to choose from here in this area.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think another one that I'd just like to sort of get in there is that we do promote a suggested Heart 200 cycle route as well. So a lot of these tourist attractions, especially in the villages, like Clootie McToot at Abernethy and the attractions we've talked about in Dunning, to do a 200-mile cycle route, if you want to blast round it, a couple of people have cycled it in a day. Other people are doing an overnighter and doing it in 2 days. But I think most people are looking at that and breaking it down into 40, 50-mile days, taking 4 or 5 days to cycle round it, and just have that time to stop off, have a nice lunch, visit the Clootie dumpling place, and pedal on in the afternoon. So and again, I think that just sort of lends itself to the ethos of slow tourism, that it isn't just about driving around the route, it is about stopping off at places, taking part in adventurous activities, going for a walk, visiting an attraction, or doing it on your bike and leaving the car at home.
I think you'll lose so much if you only go in the car and do the route. You'll lose so much of not stopping to take in the views, to take in the areas, to meet the people, because that to me is what does make the Heart 200 route so special. It's not just about the scenery. There's just so much more to enjoy, and to go and whiz past it in a car, you lose so much by doing that, I think.
The thing I said before about the density of attractions and tourism related businesses, that you do just drive 2 or 3 miles and there's something else to see or to do. So the moment you've driven away from the castle, there's a loch with a loch side walk or something. So and the number of places to eat and drink, farm shops and so on, it really is tremendous for that. So really with Heart 200, what we want to be is a shop window for all of those attractions and all of those businesses, and it is just a shame that as we launched in 2019 and we were just getting going, that bang, and COVID, the shutters came down, and but Heart 200 is there, and as things start to move again, eventually as the overseas markets hopefully come back again, we can be that shop window. And talking of the shop window, we will have a new website hopefully within the next couple of months or so.
Well, it would be remiss of me not to ask if there is a particular mystery or secret of the Heart 200 route that means a lot to you, or that you'd like to share with the listeners.
Oh, that's difficult because there's so many to choose from. Let me think. What about you, Tom? What's your favourite? Having sprung a question like that, and us having to sort of think about that one.
Well, I must admit, we came across a lot of really interesting bits and pieces. I was particularly surprised to find out about Mary Queen of Scots Private Chapel, which was an amendment made to Lochleven Castle back in the day, and you can still see the remnants of Lochleven Castle, and I would certainly recommend that you do so because it's an incredibly beautiful place.
Well, the area that I think that people only think of one place is Dunblane, because everybody thinks of Dunblane Cathedral, which is stunning. It's lovely, and there's so many nice walks round about it. But equally, there's a hidden chapel just next to it as well. That when they were doing excavations, they discovered this when they knocked down a wall. That there's a beautifully preserved hidden chapel that can now be used for wedding ceremonies, and just places of peace and quiet and contemplation in the hotel right next to the Dunblane Cathedral. So that's one of my favourite places. I think that's amazing. I really like that.
I think I'd probably just like to look towards the north and around Pitlochry. I think there's so much just within that area, because I'm usually personally sort of looking at this from a sort of adventure point of view, and you've got a couple of great mountains there in Benvrackie and Benaglow. You've got a park run at Fascally Forest now, and this area is great for parkrun tourism, with Perth, University of Stirling and Fascally Forest just outside Pitlochry. Plus you've just got lots of adventure related businesses in that area, so you're very close to whitewater rafting companies and Highland Fling for bungee jumping. And I'm not into bungee jumping, but for those that are, that's the bungee jumping capital of Scotland. So much happening around Pitlochry. So that's going to get my vote.
And I guess there's so many things when you see the pictures. Elvis has bungee jumped from there, and there's anybody who gets married can get dressed up to jump as well. So if you feel the urge for something different for your nuptials, that's definitely one of the places to go. But there are just so many wonderful places to visit in the area. I also think at Stirling University has a beautiful loch on the campus with lots of different wildlife, frogs, swans, all within easy walking distance, or a lovely walk. There's lovely places to go and eat on the campus, and if you're very sharp-eyed, you also remember it from Outlander, because quite a few of the places was used when they did the filming there as well. Like they've got a tunnel which links it across to the main part of the building, and that came from one of the airports apparently that was in America but never left Stirling. So yes, much closer to home. So there's lots and lots of different things to come and explore and find out about.
Yeah, and for sporting enthusiasts as well, of course, many people who visit Dunblane will know there is a golden postbox in the main street, which was painted to commemorate Sir Andy Murray winning the gold medal in men's singles tennis in 2012. But fewer people realise there is in fact a gold telephone box not very far away, and if you want to find out the story about that, you'll need to read the book and find out.
And I think also just to think about some of the indoor attractions. We've looked at the outdoor ones there, but again back to Pitlochry, the Festival Theatre, and other sort of larger venues like Perth Concert Hall, but music and indoor facilities all the way round the route in Aberfeldy and lots of places around the entire route. A lot of the villages that have music festivals or gigs. Backstage at Kinross, another fantastic music venue. So you could easily build a weekend, a long weekend, a whole week just around music on the route.
Yeah. And what I liked as well was if you have 2 or 3 children, or you have a budget to follow, that there are lots of places that you can go for free. Things, if you go up to Aberfeldy and you have the Birks of Aberfeldy, it is absolutely stunning, and well known as well if you're a Robert Burns fan, because he wrote about it too. Such was his delight and joy, and how beautiful it was. There's lots of walks, as Mike's mentioned. You can take bikes out. There's lots of places as well. It's worthwhile looking round about, like lots of castles on the outside. Maybe have lots of different historic environments. Scotland always have interesting things for children round about holiday times as well, which encourage them in to find out a bit more about the history of the different areas. So there's lots to see and do, that doesn't necessarily cost a lot of money.
And let's not forget the Burns connection to Kenmore as well, because famously when he visited the area, he used a diamond-tipped pen to write a poem on the wall of the reception room of the Kenmore Hotel. Now, I certainly wouldn't recommend writing any poems on the wall of a hotel in this day and age, but those who are Burns aficionados will no doubt want to visit it if they happen to be in the Kenmore area, and certainly why not, because it's a beautiful place to visit. So, Heart 200 is very much open for business, and while of course we would recommend that everyone pay attention to whatever the health regulations may happen to be as things open up again, let's hope and look forward to a lovely summer and welcoming many, many more people to central Scotland and to the Heart 200 route.
Yes, we'll look forward to seeing you soon. Please come and visit.
Yes, if you come to visit, just have a great time, and it's got something for you, it's got something for everyone, so enjoy it and take it at your own pace.
If you're interested in finding out more about Heart 200, you can follow more news about the route on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and don't forget of course to visit the Heart 200 official website at heart200.scot. You can also find out more about Mike's book on his podcast, which will be available under Find Time for Exercise, wherever good podcasts are found. And you can also follow Mike's work on his website, findtimeforexercise.com. The Heart 200 book and its sequel, Mysteries and Secrets of the Heart 200 Route, are available to buy not just from Extremis Publishing, but from all good independent retailers and online booksellers worldwide. Thank you, Julie and Mike, for having joined us today.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
And we look forward to welcoming you again soon. Please tune in for more Extremis Publishing podcasts in the near future.
Haste you back.
If you would like to find out more about advertising on the Extremis Publishing Podcast, please visit their website at www.extremispublishing.com for details.